the first topic we're going to get on to, and you may have seen it on the scores scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Actually, no, they wouldn't have appeared yet. Here it is: Arsenal nil, Chelsea 2. It's fair to say, Lewis, it was a not the best display from them.
Did you watch the game?
I did, yes.
I've got to say, for the first, when was it? I think it was 15th minute or something, Lukaku scored. For that first 15 minutes, Arsenal actually played well. I'd say it's a bold statement, but I'd say they outplayed Chelsea to a certain degree. No, that's a very bold statement. I'd say they played well. We'll leave it at that. But after Lukaku scored, they was just. It was like watching diarrhea move around the pitch. It just wasn't good. It just. I just they've just got such a mid-table team, and it's just I just don't know where they're going. To be
I,
honest with you,
I will say, you have to take into account with Arsenal is that they had a lot of players out. I mean, Ben White pulled a sickie.
I don't buy it personally. I just think Ben White is not going to change the team. Is they're only talking about him because he cost 50 million. If they'd got him for 5 million, we won't be talking about him. And I don't think Lacazette and Aubameyang are changing the game either. Personally,
Oh, the thing is, in the last
so
couple of seasons, Aubameyang's been nowhere to be seen. You look at Lacazette, has arguably been the
well,
better of the two.
well, first 2 seasons Aubameyang one day he got 20 plus goals.
No,
Last
I mean, I
season he
mean the
got
la- I mean like the last season, and I
yeah.
would
Well,
arguably say the end of the season before.
last season, yeah, Lacazette was the better player. Oh, no, we can't judge him on this season because neither of them have been there. But I don't know. I don't even think Lacazette is a great player. He's a good player.
No,
He's
he's
not a great player.
he's a
He's
squad
not going to get.
striker.
He's not. He's. I can't. I honestly cannot see Lacazette and Aubameyang coming in and changing the game entirely for them.
I can see Aubameyang to an extent, but for me, Lacazette, there needs to be more than just them. To be fair, if you look at the rest of the squads, just apart from those two forwards, they've got they've just signed another number 10 after signing Smith Rowe, who they rejected, I think, two maybe three bids from Aston Villa for. So they've got two number 10s. Pepe is outright. Martinelli is a striker slash plays out wide. So that means Saka ends up playing left back. But wait, there's Tierney there. Midfield, they were trying to get rid of Xhaka. Now he signed a new deal. They've signed a youngster. Party's injured again. The centre back situation, I don't even know who their starting pair is. You
It's
got
a joke,
the
isn't it?
goalkeeper
I mean, the thing
situation,
is,
everything.
if we start from the top and work his way down, watching Martinelli at the weekend, there's only hype around him. One, because he gets good future cards on FIFA, and two, because he scored a wonder goal against Chelsea. Was it last season? Or season before? I think it
I
was last
think season
season.
no, season before.
So was it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just, and I know Chelsea are a different kettle of fish to a lot of teams in the league, but I just don't. I, I just don't see what Martinelli offers. That's like makes me go, "Wow, this guy has got a lot going for him in the future." He's just
I'd
he's
probably
just average, and I think that's the case with a lot of the team. They're just average. I just think if you offered all those players to like every team in the league, they would all be going to bottom half clubs.
mm,
Not one of those players are top six worthy. If you said to anyone of Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Leicester, the top
I think a
six,
lot of
none
them
of them would take any of those players. I don't think. Potentially Aubameyang, but that's it.
I think a lot of them would be squad players. Like for example, I think the likes of Odegaard would be a good addition to Liverpool, but in the squad sense.
Okay, so none of them are walking to anyone's
Yeah,
starting
none
11
of them
then.
will walk into start 11, but I think some of them would be good backup. For example, Tierney, I'd probably say, probably Liverpool.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't remember that guy's name. That Greek guy beginning with T. He had a belter of a game at the
He
weekend.
has done well, but obviously that is due to only Robertson being injured, plus the fact with
Oh yeah,
Tierney
absolutely.
he can play centre back as well, which would arguably tie up the area of centre back in case they go for another injury crisis.
But I mean, Tierney as well. Like, I'm not going to dispute he is probably one of the better players that Arsenal have. But what was he doing for Reece James's goal? He were at the right throwing
Mm,
touchline, and he just left about 20 yards of space for James just getting and go. Thank you. I'll pick my corner. There you go. 2-0.
mm.
It's just they are just a very woeful team.
I would like to also point out is that people were questioning me saying, "Oh yeah, who's going to supply Lukaku last week? Oh, Reece James." Was it
Or the other 10 players in the team.
and the other 10 players, and it's like, yeah, but there's no main outlet like De Bruyne and all that. I'm like, it doesn't have to be. Anyone can supply him. He's a goal
Mm.
scorer. He's a bags man. He's a world class striker. And to be and arguably, it's not even going to be the it's not even going to be the biggest transfer of this season. Nowhere
The
near.
thing is with Lukaku, the thing is with Lukaku is just he literally offers you every dynamic thing you'd want a world class striker to offer you. He's good in the air. He can have his back to goal. He can hold up the ball. He can swivel and shoot. He can you can ping it forward for him 50 yards and he'll be on it quicker than you can say, "I can have some cheese on toast, please, boss." And he's just he can shoot from outside the box. Albeit he doesn't take free kicks, but I'm pretty sure he's probably world class at them as well. He's just he's just
Penalties.
unbelievable.
Penalties in Serie A when he was destroying the net whenever he put them in. Just power.
It's a bit his finest quality is the fact that he can hold up the ball and he just swivels and shoots, and it's going to be on target.
Mm,
So, but it's just his pace as well. I mean, his pace against Arsenal at the weekend was just scary for a guy so big and such a
mm.
massive unit. He doesn't half shift.
Because that's one thing I think a lot of people forgot about. They just assumed, oh, he's still got a lousy touch. I'm like, no, the man's like, if you watched him during the Euros, the man's improved a hell of a lot. And bearing in mind that he had the likes of De Bruyne supplying him, and Hazard and a few others, and it's like that man's got pace to make any defense worry. I like when we eventually play them. If we don't have Varane playing, we're screwed.
I think the thing is with Lukaku, a lot of people still judge him on his time at United, and you've got to think Lukaku's time at United. United didn't have the squad they do now, which
No,
is a hell of a lot better. And also, United didn't play to his strengths,
absolutely not.
so it's like, well, what do you want the man to do? You may as well just ask him to play centre back. But if you look at him at West Brom, Everton, into Belgium, and now Chelsea again, he's a completely different player at all of those clubs than he was to Man United.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Conte did absolutely wonders to him at Inter.
Well, because every team he's played in, bar Man United, know how to play to his strengths and know how to go, here's the ball, Romelu, get it in the top corner.
Mm. Well, the thing is, like, and that's the reason why Ollie got rid of him. It was like, right, we're not going to play to your strengths, so we're going to get rid of you for 70 odd mil, or 60 to 70 odd mil, and we're going to replace you with forwards who will play more to our counter-attacking style at the time. But the thing
Mm.
is, if you like, you said to me now, who would I rather have? I'd have Lukaku all day because for me,
Over Cavani.
wow, I love Cavani's song. So, but in terms of footballer, I would have to say Lukaku.
Oh, well, long term, yeah, I'd rather have Lukaku. I think the thing, what didn't play in his favour as well is when he signed, you also had Ibrahimovic, which
Mm,
is like two massive personalities, and you could argue they both offer very similar things. I know Ibrahimovic at the time, and even now, doesn't have the pace that Lukaku does, but in terms of everything else, you know, Ibrahimovic, you're not going to
bags of it.
turn your nose down at him, are you? But so it's kind, and it's like you're not going to play two giants like them two up front. You're not Burnley, you're Man United, so you're not going to play them both up front, are you? Which, to be fair, didn't really help Lukaku's cause at the time. But
I will say against Arsenal, when Mourinho had him, he did play Lukaku sometimes out wide because he knew the full backs would bomb on. I think it was the game where Jesse Lingard was during that incredible form he had with United, and he turned the Emirates into a dance hall. And it was like Lukaku, Martial's, and Pogba's. But it was when we played in the black kit. It was. I remember watching that game in the uni library. I had security
because
coming.
how much work you did.
Explains why it took 6 years. And he just absolutely tore into. I think it was Kolasinac at the time, the left back, and Kolasinac could get nowhere near him. And Lukaku was
Well,
just even
that's
back then
class,
he was
innit?
using his strength, his pace, just everything. Just everything was. He's one of the few players who have left who I've been arguably upset about leaving more than anyone.
I think the trouble is was it 2 seasons he were there? I think the trouble is Lukaku at the time he's still young. He's what 28. So you had him when he was 24.
24, 25.
That's so young. I mean, it's not young, but it's still young. And you judged him on 2 seasons where you didn't play to his strengths.
Mm,
Keep the guy there, and he'll score. He's a proven goal scorer. He's not going to go the whole season scoring about 5 goals. Well, all he needs is to find a little bit of form, and that's it. He's off. He's
yeah,
away.
and that
And I
was
just,
evident
it,
in Serie A because once that man started scoring, you couldn't stop. The amount of special
mm,
FIFA cards he got was ridiculous.
but that's the thing because Inter they didn't build a team around him, but they had a team that played
Mm.
to his strengths. And it's like, and he was playing with another striker in Martinez, but Martinez offers very different qualities to what
Yes, he played
Lukaku
sometimes
does. So
more
it
out
works
wing.
well.
Lukaku stayed
Yeah,
central, and
exactly.
Martinez was like, right, I'm going to go left, I'm going to go right. I'll be your runner.
Yeah, exactly. And to set up a team which had runners going on, whereby they can either play the ball in behind for Lukaku to get onto. They had wing backs, obviously, because it's Conte's style, where they're like, right,
Mm.
we'll put the ball in that 6 yard box to get your skull on it, or we'll put it into your ROM and you can hold it up and lay it off for us. It's like they're literally everything you ask him to do, he's going to do because that's how he plays.
Mm. And especially with the way that, if you look at the way that arguably Conte set up and the way Tuchel set up formations sort of in a way, along
Mm,
with the way that both teams are playing. Because for example, Alonso, Chilwell, or James and whoever plays right wing back, they are bombing crosses in. They're getting down the line, bombing it in to, or just giving the ball to Jorginho. He's putting a through ball in. It would have been Werner or Kai Havertz who were onto that. Now it's Lukaku, and he's able to hold it up, and as you say, like bring the others in, and they're able to. Basically, He's the final piece of the jigsaw in this Chelsea
mm,
masterpiece. Because that's why I've got them down as title favourites. In my eyes, it is Chelsea's not to lose because I don't think they're that far ahead. But for me, Chelsea are my favourites still.
mm. Don't know, mate. Does make me reconsider my predictions. I've got to be honest.
I will, but the thing
Now,
is, obviously, it's
now
only
that
his first game. Although the real test, arguably, for Chelsea is their next game, Liverpool.
we're playing, I think they'll beat
Big Virgil
Liverpool. I've got to
van
be honest.
Dijk versus Big Rom, Big Blue Rom. I'm having to call him Blue Rom now. Oh.
I do think Chelsea will win that. I could see like a 2-0 happening there. I've got to be honest.
For me, it depends on because Kante didn't play last game. He got basically a free rest.
I know, it's a joke, isn't it?
Because Carl, who's in the chat by the way, if you're unaware, Lewis, saying yes, boys. Obviously, this man is now free and not here. We're gonna have to do some investigation into that. It was very hypocritical of my point about the fact of who plays where in this Chelsea team. So Mount and Havertz, I believe, were the two players that played against Arsenal in behind
Yeah.
Lukaku, which in a way I agree with. But the thing is, now thinking about it, it makes more sense to play Havertz and Mount rather than Werner and Havertz in terms of a
Um,
midfield.
it's just a bit of a selection headache, really, isn't it? But
A good one.
in a good way. The fact that you've got those options to, to choose those world class players. Like if we compare Chelsea and Liverpool's squad, we think to 2 years ago. Well, 2 years ago when Liverpool won the Premier League, and 3 years ago when they won the Champions League. It's kind of roles reversed now, isn't it? Liverpool have pretty much the same squad, which is still very, very good. But you go to the bench and it's like, oh dear,
Yeah, their first
we're bringing
11
on.
is good, but the thing is, they get one injury. Like for example, we mentioned this last episode when African Cup of Nations hit, but but if the caveat of players can't go to represent their country, I don't think they'll stop that. But when they go, Liverpool will suffer badly.
Well, they will because they're going to lose. They'll lose Salah, they'll lose Mane. So all you've got left then is Jota, Firmino. You haven't got Shaqiri anymore. So all you've got is Origi and Minamino. Midfield, you're losing Keita. I know he doesn't play a hell of a lot, but that's still an option you're losing. And in your back four, you're losing Matip.
No, actually, Matip has retired from international. He retired
Oh well,
a while back.
that's that then.
He got asked to play, but he said no. I think due to the fact that he's respecting his retirement and the whole red flag issue with countries having to play. Because I know Salah's one of the players that's been refused basically to represent his country.
Yeah, obviously don't want it because it's on red travel list, isn't it? So, but that's a topic for a few weeks' time when it's the friendlies. So tune in then to talk about Boris's travel list.